Rent. Welcome back to Give Me Rent. I'm Dylan. Joining me is Noah and our first guest, Jake Malika. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's pretty cool to be here. I'm a long-time listener of the show.
Yeah. Appreciate that. We love the support. All right, today we have a pretty special episode. We're halfway through the 2020s, all right? Halfway through it, 2025. We are going to be doing a draft of our favorite films from the 2020s, all right? There's been a lot. We're going to be narrowing it down into categories. First off, we're going to do horror, and then comedy, action, adventure, animation, and drama, all right? So we're going to go down the line. We'll do a snake draft. You guys know how that works. I start. Noah will be the last pick, and then I'll have the first pick of the next round.
And Dylan, just for the record, we're picking, from each category. It's
Yeah,
not
so
category specific.
You can pick whatever. From any category you want.
Just want to clarify before we begin.
Yes. You can pick from any category you want at any point, but you can only have one per category. So once you pick a comedy, that's it. It's off the board for you.
Okay, understood.
Got it?
Understood.
Got it?
All right, start us off, buddy.
All right, I'm going to start us off. We're going to start an action here because I know you guys are really – that's one of the big ones here. I think action movies have really had such a steady – there's been so many bangers every single year of the 2020s. But for action, I got to pick, number one pick, Top Gun Maverick. This is unlike anything we've gotten in such a long time, I feel like. This is like a kind of a relic of a movie in a way. I feel like it feels like a movie that was supposed to be made in the late 90s, early 2000s, but has that – modernized touch as well in a way, the way it's shot, everything like that.
What do you guys think? It's like a lot of Tom Cruise movies where they do kind of feel like relics.
Yeah.
He is one of the last remaining real movie stars.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Mission Impossible, which just came out. It doesn't feel like it's from this era of movie making.
But I mean that in obviously the best, all the best.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think it captured the essence of the original movie.
But also, it is better than the original Top Gun.
Oh,
I actually think it's leagues better than the original Top Gun. One of the best legacy, you call these legacy sequels or whatever you want to call it. It is maybe the best.
Well, that's
one
what makes it so good. It's not
honestly.
like the legacy. It's not trying to. It emulates the original in some capacity, but it really is its own. It's its own movie that stands on its own. It's way stronger than the first.
And when they were developing it, I just know when they were developing it, they were like, because it took years for Top Gun to be made. They wanted to make it, and the original director passed, and they didn't really want to continue making a Top Gun movie. But then Tom Cruise really was given a script that he was like, this is there's something here.
Do you also think something that pulled him into making Top Gun 2 is, he definitely evolved as obviously a stunt performer since the Top Gun came out. He wasn't a stunt performer when it first came out.
Yeah, so
do you think him actually also being a pilot?
I'd honestly go as far as saying
him
for the second era of Tom Cruise, which is after he had his little Oprah incident and then he came back and did all the stunts he came back with Ghost Protocol, and that's his whole other era.
Well, that solidified him as the stunt guy.
But I would say Top Gun Maverick is maybe the best Tom Cruise movie ever made. I'm honestly just going to go out and say it.
He's in a lot of good movies.
I would definitely have to brush up a little on Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut is still on my list.
That's true. That's true.
I've heard that's got a
good
lot
movie.
of hype.
He's been in a lot of different movies, so it's tough to say.
With that, how do you feel about Top Gun 3 coming out?
Honestly,
do you think they should have just left it where it is? You hit this...
Because,
gold 20 years.
Like I just said, it took him so long. He had an idea, and he was like, there's something that pulled him back. Is there actually something pulling him back to do a third? Or they're just like, wow, we made a lot of money with Maverick. Let's make another.
Script pulled him back, or is it $30 million?
We'll have to wait and see. But, I will know this. If they use the same cinematographer, there will be those flight sequences, some of the best action ever put to screen ever in a movie. Ever.
Yeah, definitely some of the most thrilling stuff I've seen in theaters.
I'm excited to see.
It wasn't. They're not similar movies, but it definitely had me on the edge of my seat, kind of similar to how Dunkirk did in a way.
I feel like you're there. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on, Jake. Your first pick of the draft.
Well, I respect the Top Gun Maverick pick at the top of the draft, but I couldn't be happier to take Oppenheimer at the second pick.
Oh yeah.
I really expected.
I
really expected Oppenheimer to be picked first, so I'm not not surprised. It seems like the obvious pick.
It is such a top-notch movie that even in the week of Barbenheimer, everyone even the Barbie fans are like, it's better. It's better movie.
Well, it's obviously
it was fun,
They're very different.
Yeah. What a great double feature, honestly. and we'll see if Barbie ends up on a list. But
Well, it was
I'm
great
happy
when
this is
Oppenheimer
there.
came out. It was great to see people like be that hyped about. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest biopic guy, but it's such an interesting choice. Someone to focus on like that, especially Christopher Nolan doing it. I think it delivered on everything we thought it was going to be. Like I remember being in that theater. I think we all saw it multiple times. It was a big movie that when movies that are supposed to be that big really deliver, they feel like events. It's different than just a normal going to the movies. You know what I mean? Barbenheimer felt different. That was what was amazing about that event. It got large chunks of people into theaters again, but it felt special. It had a very no other film in the 2020s. I mean, Barbie had it because came out at the same time, but nothing was able to emulate that feeling.
And I mean that bomb
At all.
test scene. I mean that's one of the
Yeah.
best theater experiences.
We all just held our
Okay.
breath. It was
Top
total
5
silence.
all time that I've experienced.
Yeah.
No Way Home. That like I don't even know what
You know,
compares to those.
Honestly, like that was such a good experience. Everyone had a different experience of Oppenheimer. I feel
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean. Everyone saw it that week, which it was the first time in a while where that happened. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like everyone saw an semi-original movie, just like it wasn't a Marvel movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there hasn't really been another film, like I was saying, in the 2020s that has garnered that much conversation, and people like felt like I need to see this.
Yeah.
Which that's
Nolan will do that.
I think we'll have it again possibly with the Odyssey, but we'll see because the Odyssey obviously isn't something that's so prevalent to our current day. Oppenheimer is still a story that is very relevant, of course.
Yeah, that definitely added to why it worked so well too.
Yes, it's
Yeah. All right, so we got
Scary.
two pretty heavy. We got a heavy hitter in action and a heavy hitter, maybe the heaviest hitter in drama, gone off the board.
yeah.
Noah, I guess your first pick. What are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna jump us back to action because
Okay.
Oppenheimer probably would have been my number one, for this. But I think jumping for me, a pretty close second would be Dune Part 2, which
yeah, it is.
I just think that
It's a draft.
it's not. I don't think everyone agrees with this, but I think Dune, especially now with Part 2, which is think has made Part 1 more whole in a way.
Mhm.
I think they're our current kind of Lord of the Rings in a way. I think they're that good, which, I'm saying this as a huge Lord of the Rings guy. I think this is a great current blockbuster for this generation.
It's definitely the most epic
100%.
fantasy.
And it also is,
Yeah.
it tests audiences. They're long films, which you really have to lock into to really get everything, to understand all the characters, the motivation, stuff like that. I thought it was just perfect. I think Denny really delivered on the world building, especially expanding it in Part 2. It just felt so grand, and like the story that he was telling, it had so much weight to it. It's a very interesting, story that's obviously been emulated in many other things, Star Wars specifically, stuff like
I
that.
do like that you note that like it isn't exactly mainstream. Obviously,
Yeah.
it has broken the zeitgeist, and it's
It's
Dune.
very popular, but it's
But
not.
there are haters of these movies because
Yeah.
there's some hard to understand things going on. Like he's drinking blue juice, like you know what I mean. There's a bunch of stuff happening in movies that a lot of average cinema goers are like, "What the hell's going on?" You know what I mean? So I like that.
Well, there's a lot of answers also
You're
given
noting
you
that.
just visually, not through. It's both just through dialogue and visuals. It's some things
It's
are
a lot
just,
of show don't tell. Yeah.
Exactly. There's different. I mean, in the 2020s, there's been many blockbusters that people have loved, like say the Batman, and I'm thinking Everything Everywhere All at Once, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
Dune, I don't know, it just has that sense of scale and grandness that movies like Lord of the Rings had.
Yeah.
And there are superhero blockbusters now. They're not really able to capture that scale. I want to see that in things like, again, I mean, it's a lot of CGI and stuff like that. But I think Dune was able to capture the perfect of practical and CGI mix. They created an amazing world. I think Denny, he obviously strives to have practical things in his films. It shows.
Oh yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But yeah, I mean, that would definitely be my pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Great pick. You get
Wishful
another.
thinking to think it was gonna come
Yeah,
back to
no,
me on the wrap
listen.
around and get Oppenheimer and Dune.
Yeah,
but-
these action picks are
Yeah,
going
it's a
quick
good pick.
because it's definitely true. Action movies have had a very good run.
Well, they're
in
the most thrilling
2020s.
movies
Really
to watch
good.
in the theater.
They are definitely.
Yeah.
For us, for people like us, we love.
Yeah, I would say
good,
our go-to movies are
accomplished
definitely
action
action
movies.
movies as well.
100%, yeah.
So,
But I think Dune was really it has a lot of merit to it. It's great filmmaking on display at the same time. It's unlike superhero movies in that regard. It's an utmost care for it being a great film.
yeah, well, you get another pick right now, dude. So
Okay. I think I'm gonna jump to somewhere different. I'll jump to horror for my next pick.
okay,
I think
don't do it.
there's a lot of
He's about to
great
do it to me.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I think I know what you said. I won't do it to you. I think I'm gonna go with The Substance for my second pick.
Ooh, okay.
You know, The
As far as
Substance was
Jay.
one that really caught me off guard. I just think it's so. I think when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, oh, okay, that looks weird. And that looks very different. And I love how the film was very much like the trailer. Like, they kept the style. They knew that it had such a distinct style to it that they were like, yeah, like that's how. I kind of wonder how much went into making the trailer for it alone. Because, like, was the director like, it needs to maintain this weird sense in it. And I think you feel that during the entire movie. It feels like a kind of like a fever dream you're watching it. Obviously, it's a very exaggerated world. It's very interesting. But I think what it is trying to say is it's important. Obviously, it's not things that aren't talked about, but
Yeah.
doing it through the body horror lens was fun, but also very horrific in a way, obviously.
I think it's. I mean, I love horror movies that are social commentaries as well.
Of course.
And I think using the body horror
It's
genre.
quite, to be
is
honest,
smart.
it's quite funny, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's definitely got its moments of
It
dark
bridges
humor.
horror comedy, but I would argue it's more horror. That's why
By the end of it, you're gonna feel sick.
Yes,
But
exactly.
But I think that you know, it was also great to see it, you know, get recognition. It's great to see
Oh, yeah.
horror get more recognition from the Academy and stuff like that.
I didn't think it was the best horror movie of even that year, but it is,
But I do think
one of the best for the 2020s.
I think
for
Demi
sure.
Moore. I mean, she gave it her all in that film. I
yeah.
think she kind of deserved the Oscar for the film, but she didn't get it. But you know, it was still great to see her give it her all like that.
I
It's a
really
great
love
film.
hearing the perspectives on this movie, like because I haven't seen it yet, so
Yeah,
like, hearing
yeah.
it blind, like
Yeah.
this is the best horror movie in the last 5 years for you. And
It's one of that. Listen, there's
so, like,
other.
it is, though. It was your
Horror is
first
super
off the
strong
boat.
right now. There's
Yeah.
other films that I'm sure are going to be talked about here that I do love a lot. But I think The Substance was so strong in its commentary and stuff like that that
We're
it
finally
really- I
getting
gravitated
good.
towards it.
Even like higher caliber filmmakers are getting interested in the genre. Like,
Yeah.
that is what's so great about it now. You have a lot of filmmakers that are like, wow, horror really is something I could tap into.
I'm excited
You know?
to see who wins that bidding war for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Like,
So it was
right?
Jordan Peele. Who's the other guy? I know Glenn Powell.
People really
was
want to
in
make
there,
that
and-
again.
Dude, I mean, do you want to see another Texas Chainsaw?
I mean, I haven't seen the first
Did you?
one.
Did you?
I was
the
late-
most recent one wasn't too great.
I was
Netflix,
late
right?
to horror,
So
That's crazy.
Netflix has owned it for like I don't know a few years now, and
Mm.
they made it like they made a legacy sequel if that's what you
Was
want
it?
to call it.
Yeah, I've seen
I saw
parts
it.
of it. Yeah.
It is terrible. it's really bad. They're trying to bid for it still. They still want to
Yeah.
keep it. I hope they don't because wow, it was horrendous. Very, very.
We'll see what happens there. I didn't even know that was going on, so that's interesting.
Good pick though. I think that's a good like.
Yeah, I wanted to shake it up for my second pick. I think
Definitely
I'm
did.
happy with it. But,
Definitely did. I don't think that definitely wasn't gonna be Jake's pick. So he.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah, exactly. So
what were we thinking, Jake?
yeah, let's pass it back
Yeah,
to Jake.
I'm in the toughest position I think I'm going to be in for this whole draft. Because right now I know I can wait on action adventure. You guys both
That's
use
true.
your
That's
first
true.
two picks.
Yeah.
You can literally sit
I
on
can
it now.
punt now and just wait till the end. I'm really between comedy and animation on taking my best one in each. I think I came into this
Lot of good
wanting
in
to walk
both.
away with Poor Things,
Mhm.
but I also don't want to walk away without Across the Spider-Verse or Last Wish.
That's very
Ooh.
true.
Both
Some
good ones.
Fire animation picks
Yeah.
for the last few years.
And then
It's
Anora's
tough.
also stared me in the face down
Yeah.
there.
It is. It is.
We got it in the comedy.
Uh,
It's tough.
I think I'm gonna go Poor Things. I think I really enjoyed that one when I saw it
Yeah.
in theaters. I bet on that from DraftKings and the Oscars.
Yeah.
To take all those categories. They made me some money. Happy
I
with
love that.
But yeah, I had a great time watching Poor Things.
Poor Things
I
had a
thought,
crazy run at the Oscars. Like, you're just
Yeah.
reminding me. Like, yeah. Like,
Well, let's
I
actually
forgot how
address it real
recognized
quick.
it
Let's
actually
be
was.
real. Comedy, in a way, is kind of the hardest category here.
Yeah.
Because comedy's just had a weird way of it the last few years.
We were talking about that on the phone
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, it
How,
was.
Exactly.
It's
you
tough
look
looking
these
at
and
this.
there's
Yeah.
no straight up comedies the way we have Superbad and Step Brothers.
Because
We
it's a
have-
different era of comedy.
We have
you
no.
know?
They're not willing to cross the line in the terms of like being offensive.
Yes.
So now it's so much like almost like dark situational comedy.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching Friendship, like
Yeah. It's
the
just
movie
different.
was dark and see like obviously my dad didn't think it was a comedy and I had to explain to him.
Literally,
like,
yeah.
You know, it's not so much like what was going on, but just like the situation of this is a dark rom-com
Yes.
between a man
Yes,
and another
yes.
man trying to be friends.
Well, think right now, like my favorite comedies Yeah, like a lot of them are like kind of just
And I
like
think
not
that goes with
comedies, but they
Poor
are
Things and
comedic.
Nora as well.
Yeah,
where it
like
was,
a Nora. Yeah.
Poor Things was funny, but it was really like the situations that like she's in a
Exactly.
whorehouse, fucking talking
Exactly.
about this stuff. And,
Yeah,
like,
situational humor, I guess, if
Yeah.
you will.
It had a lot to
but
say
it's,
though
it's
as well.
dark situational humor.
Yeah, it's dark.
Not the
A lot of dark.
situational humor that we're used to.
Well, we definitely passed through that era of like people doing a lot of crude humor. You know what I mean in their movies, like that's just.
I'd say
that
the
time is
only
done.
film in the 2020s to really try and attempt it would be No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, that
Which
kind of was a little reminiscent
It's
of it.
still it's reminiscent, but still it doesn't really punch down as hard as those other films used to. They're just from a different era. The
Yeah.
comedy just isn't widely accepted anymore.
I was annoyed looking at the list of recent comedies. I really wish Blockers was 2020.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
that would have
That
been
was
my
solid.
first.
That was a good one.
That's
That was a
the
good
only
in the
movie that
end
on
days.
this list that I think would have had some reminiscence of Superbad and
Yeah,
Step
yeah,
Brothers
yeah.
and all the. We're gonna cross the line a little bit, try and be raunchy.
Yeah, like
try
that
and
and
be offensive.
There
Smart
were
kind of
some
were the
movies
end
that
of an
got
era.
kind of close to there, but a lot of them end up on streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like think about Ricky Stenicki. Like it kind of had that vibe.
Yeah,
it was
but
a
it's
straight
like-
to Amazon movie. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't like
I mean,
something that
even
needed
if
to be
Ricky
in
Yeah.
Stenicki was a
theaters.
theatrical release, I mean, I think
Exactly.
Blockers
I don't think
is
people
head
are
But at
still
and
least,
shoulders above
yes,
that.
yes, it wasn't a great movie, but at least led to that like crude humor
Yeah,
like era.
and I think that's
you know?
why I like Stenicki so much. I mean, that was the perfect airplane movie. I saw it on
Great
the
There you
airplane
go,
movie.
there you go.
flight down to Orlando.
Fair
It was
point.
2.5 hours, perfect. But,
That's a good call. That's a
but,
great
yeah.
airplane movie right there. Good pick with Poor Things. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So far
Solid.
in the draft, you know, all these movies very unique,
Yeah.
unique picks
Yeah.
in the 2020s for sure. All right, so I guess I'm up for my second.
Yeah, you
my
got
second.
back to
Go.
back here.
Back to back. All right, my second and third pick. I'm gonna start in comedy too, just because you just went comedy. I'm feeling it right now.
Do it.
And this one, probably one of the most unique movies of the last 20 years, 25 years. This is such a distinct movie. It's one of one. Hundreds of Beavers.
Oh yeah.
I am definitely picking that as
I
my
had a
comedy pick.
feeling.
Absolutely hilarious. One. Also, it is just kind of inspiring in a way.
Well, this is one of the movies
Yeah.
from all the movies that are here that we're referencing and looking at today. This is one that I recommend to a lot of people.
Yes.
I love.
I'm
this
gonna just
movie.
say it right now. I'm gonna call you out, Jake. I don't even think you can get through it.
Yeah, I couldn't. I got
what,
I think
15 minutes?
15 minutes, and I was like, "What am I
Okay.
watching?"
I'll say this: it's not for everyone. It definitely isn't. But if it is for you, it's for you, and it really works.
Yeah.
I really think if you could buy
Lot of
into
love in
what
it.
they're selling quick, you like the movie. And it does take little bit of its time to like. You're like, huh, what am I watching?
Longest
Like,
title
Yeah.
card like ever.
yes, I think it takes about 30
might be an
to
hour into the movie.
It's like 30 to 45 minutes before it
Yeah.
says the title, which is insane.
awesome.
But it was still hilarious before that. But yeah, once it gets into full swing, this movie really worked for me. Really funny, and it's just minimalistic.
Oh,
too.
genuinely
it's
just-
simple. It's simple.
It's a great love letter to like animation in a way. You know.
Oh yeah,
like,
honestly,
Looney
if you don't
Tunes
even know
style.
what Hundreds of Beavers because not a whole lot of people saw it. It made some money. It made its money back.
Oh, great
but-
festival run movie.
Yeah, good
it's not,
festival run.
It wasn't. Yeah.
But it is essentially a live action cartoon. It's a live
Mm-hmm.
action cartoon, and it works with that kind of physics and everything like that. And I had such a ball at it. I really.
It's short, right? It's like an hour and a half.
I'd say it's a good hour 45.
Yeah,
hour
definitely
and a half.
not. Definitely under 2 hours. There's no way.
Yes, it is, but
I
great.
definitely want to give it another try, but
You
it was
should.
Just,
I'm going to say
Everyone
you
give it a
really
try.
Should because
Yeah.
everyone you should because it is hilarious and it's kind of movies like this that we need because it's one of one. There's no other movie really like it.
Well, it's just you can see it. There's so much love poured into it.
Yeah.
It's low budget. It's just straight. They just went out and wanted to make this such a specific but great movie. I think it really did. For me, it
Yes.
landed.
So that's
Definitely.
that's my second pick for comedy. I'm gonna move over to horror now because I don't want anyone.
I love
I
this.
don't
I
want
think I
anyone-
know
love
what
the
you're
sound
gonna
of that.
take. I think I know.
I don't want anyone to take this because this. I don't know if it is my favorite movie of the 2020s, but it's definitely really up there.
Yeah.
It is. It's good. It has been with me. I've seen it twice now. I saw it in the theater once and rewatched it once on a theater, and it's still even on that second viewing. I was like, yeah, this generally is up there for me. Nosferatu, Eggers' fourth film. I just think he really nailed it. This is obviously a remake of a pretty old movie, one of the oldest, and
well, a movie that's already been remade as well.
it's been remade
Yeah.
as well.
Of course, I mean, it's obviously the story of Dracula as well, but
I'm just gonna say this: as horror goes, I really think this is top notch. Everything on display is insane. From also, Blast coming back to do the cinematography. It is every single frame of this movie is a painting.
Yeah.
I'm just, like literally, it's like gothic art on display.
This is another film where a lot of the sequences felt like dreamlike in a way, and that's obviously what they
Yes.
were going for, you know. And I think you're right. It really, the atmosphere of the movie was something else.
Eggers it's clear he's a fan of the original, especially every frame.
Well, this
that's
is
poured
this
into
is
it.
his love letter. This is Eggers'.
Because I'm always very skeptical when someone's making a remake or a reboot or something.
Yeah.
But this was different. This really.
I was
wasn't-
always very excited for
Yes.
this too because he always seemed like a perfect match for this type of. I'm also very excited for his werewolf story coming next. I think.
Yes.
But this was obviously different, where it's a remake of Nosferatu.
For his fourth movie, and he's a filmmaker that I could say that I've been following him since his first movie, since The Witch came out. I have been intrigued with what he's been doing because he only tackles stuff in the past. He will not deal with stuff in modern. It's all historical horror, in a way, or The Northman as well. But it's all these historical based films that's right away he gets me intrigued. Like I love history. I love his take on these movies. Sometimes it's hard to understand the dialogue, sometimes, but Nosferatu worked on all fronts for me. I genuinely thought it was scary. Like, it actually scared me a little bit in the theater. Great theater experience. And Skarsgård as Orlok, incredible. Like, actually one of my favorite horror performances, definitely of the 2020s, maybe forever.
Might just be one of my favorite performances. Of the
say what
2020s.
you want about the
What a
stash.
present.
Say what you want about the stash.
I love
or
the
whatever.
stash. I grew on me.
You could say he looks like Mr. Potato Head, whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? But
Well, they were going for
Yeah.
the Vlad the Impaler.
exactly,
the
he
whole
goes
time.
for this
Like,
historical.
It's
he
historically
did
accurate to the
he
time,
did
yeah.
history research, and he knew
Exactly.
exactly what he wanted.
Exactly.
And exactly how he wanted to portray it. He wasn't just putting the mustache out there.
It also
Yeah.
makes him really stand
It's
out
deliberate.
amongst the other Orlocks.
Yeah.
He looks very different.
Yeah, but seriously,
I thought it worked very well.
I think it's my favorite
some
of
getting
Eggers'
used to, but-
filmography. It really worked
Really?
for me. Yeah, I do think it. I mean, I love The Lighthouse. I love The Witch. I like all of his movies.
Yeah, he's great.
But Nosferatu
I
really
agree.
just, as a remake, one of my favorite remakes of all time, honestly. It really just, it had a good approaches with having Ellen be the main character as well.
Oh yeah, that also definitely made it very different from the other takes as well.
Yeah,
I mean, there was
so-
never that much of a
So my third pick, we go Nosferatu, locking it in.
solid.
Yeah.
I
Alright,
wish that
moving
could have
on.
made it to me, but
Yeah.
see, now I'm in a unique position again because you guys both have two horrors, or
Yeah.
both have a horror, both have an action, and then
I got
I have my pick of animation. I really thought that you'd pick one, and I can kind of just don't have to flip the coin anymore.
I have a feeling my animation pick is going to be saved. That's why I'm not picking it just yet. There's some
See,
great picks there too.
I think I already know what your pick is. So yeah.
You can
Yeah.
take it.
Nah, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't do that.
Oh man, this is tough. All right, it's between Puss in Boots and Spider-Man.
Okay. Which
I
one?
fell, I,
go
fell,
with one.
I fell asleep for the last 10 minutes of the Wild Robot, so
Okay,
so
that's
it's not
you
up
can't
there
go
in that
Wild
count.
Robot then.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, no, that was a tough
Love that film.
9:30 showing at AMC.
Fair.
But all right, you know what? We're gonna go Puss in Boots.
Last
There it is.
wish.
All right. I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah, I mean, I like the original Spider-Verse better than the second, which is
Okay.
partially what goes
Me
into
too.
it.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both are very solid, but I see why. Yeah.
but
I think
mean,
the cross is held back by being the first part
See,
of a
what splits
two-parter.
it for me is that I went into Spider-Verse expecting like,
A full-
okay, this is gonna be the best animation movie of the
Yeah.
last 5-10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots, I completely wrote off. Did not see it in theaters.
That
had-
is what made it so good too. Yeah, I
Yes.
didn't expect
had
that.
Sleeper hit.
no interest in it when it was on streaming,
Mhm.
and then I was talking to Matt about it one day. He's like, "It's phenomenal."
Yeah.
I saw it on Instagram. They're like, "This is one of the best stories about death."
It's
Yeah.
also
that you
it's
can show
a
to
great
anyone.
story for
Like, it's
kids
not just the
to
horror-
learn
yeah.
about death. It's kind of crazy to talk
So
about.
just
it like
the
that,
fact
but
that it
it's
was
great.
so out of left field, and I just loved it so much on the first viewing. I'm going with Puss in Boots.
So you didn't even see it in theaters. You saw it like later on.
I
You were
probably
just
saw
like,
it 3 years after it came out. 2
Wow.
years after it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was completely asleep on that one.
I was
It
very happy I sat to
Happy
see it
you
in theaters.
admitted
I
it.
didn't know what to expect. I just heard some people started liking it. So I was like, people are saying a Shrek movie's kind of good. I'll give it a shot. It was one of the best animated movies I've
Well,
ever seen.
DreamWorks was was really cold before that. You know, there hadn't been a good.
No, they had
DreamWorks-
the bad guys. No,
Yeah, but is that good?
people really like it.
I
Though.
didn't see it, so I
Yeah, I
There's
can't talk
fans
about
of
it, but I
that,
think
but
that-
what's
got a
compared to
sequel.
Bad Guys to The Last Wish right now? Like, come on.
But you haven't seen it. I think people really like it.
But Last Wish is on another level. Like it really, especially the animation I went with the 2D. You know, the 2D over the 3D. Phenomenal. Like it just looked better than any Shrek movie before that. Even.
I mean, well, because it had such a different style, it really stands out for that. But it did really work.
I will ask you though, Jake. Are you worried about the next Shrek, or are you excited?
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, I'm honestly worried about any sequel that gets greenlit. I see a
Fair.
sequel get greenlit, and I kind of just go,
Oh boy.
Especially
we're
like
going
10
through this
plus
again.
years after, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love Shrek. It was probably one of the first movies I've ever seen, so I'm gonna see it in theaters, obviously as an A-lister, and hope for the best.
Well, we're lucky that sequels like The Last Wish are out there at least. You know what I mean? Those happen. And it's not even like the first Puss in Boots was that good.
I think
You know?
DreamWorks is going to be really aggressive with how much Disney's been flopping recently with Pixar and all the other stuff. So I really think they're going to try and put out their best work.
Yeah,
just because they unintentionally fell into a lead over that in that category.
Yeah, honestly.
So that's where my hope comes from. Like if you were we were talking about the Ratatouille 2 just got greenlit.
Yes, it did.
Zero hope for that.
I can't believe that actually.
Well, you got to think some of these Pixar sequels work. Inside Out 2 is, universally loved. Like that is said to be, that was like the highest grossing animated movie of all time. They work sometimes. It really just comes down to the team that's working on it. Like I didn't think about Incredibles 2. I honestly don't remember that movie at all. Like
forgettable.
It's very forgettable. Toy Story 4. Why was that made? Why? I mean, I know why it was made.
I had fun with it.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't.
It's just such a perfect trilogy that like why even touch it? But I will say the animation in that movie is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah.
And I am actually excited for Toy Story 5.
I can't believe
The
it.
iPad is the main villain. I mean, like
that seemed like what they should have done in 4, though.
No,
right?
it is, and that's why I'm excited for
Because I
it as
agree,
5.
that seems like the logical jump in the series.
Yeah.
But 4 was just like, all right, bring back Bo Peep. Like, what's going on? I don't like. I mean, it was a personal story, but it didn't really work for me.
Trying to make it
I had
emotional
a fun
again is
time
tough to
with
do
it.
that.
Yeah, fun.
I
All
wasn't going into it with a critical lens, like
Fair enough.
I like
we know they're milking it like past
Okay.
3.
All right. Well, that's the first animation take on. There it is, Noah. That does shakes things up a little bit.
Like honestly, just to kind of challenge Jake a little bit, I'm gonna go with the Wild Robot for my next. I thought this movie
Phenomenal
was
pick.
amazing. Which it's DreamWorks, right? Is
Yes.
it? It's also DreamWorks. So I think
Oh, they're not cold
great,
now.
but it's a great evolution of also that same animation we saw in Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah.
It's a great use of that again. I thought that the movements in the movie were just absolutely like weird to say, but it's just like how the robot moved around was kind of crazy. Like mixed with like the 2D 3D mix, It was a gorgeous movie to look at, but also the story, just like Puss in Boots, great for kids. Like it's just a great, heartfelt, emotional story that actually teaches kids things instead of just kind of rotting them a little bit.
just stimulating them.
Yeah, it's actually a stimulating movie just for kids and adults alike. It's actually like, it's not like you're taking your kid and just sitting there for 2 hours. You're not stimulated at all. It's a lot of animated movies in the 2020s have been like that. I will say, it's very good to say that.
I shout out another that came out that same year, Transformers 1 as well. Perfect for kids and adults alike.
Exactly.
Just a great animated movie.
There's a lot of
Such
good
a
ones.
travesty that's not part of their future plans.
Honestly, I don't understand why.
Well, that was another one
How
that
do you plan to make 5 movies?
it was
and
so,
not
but
one
it
of
was,
them-
one
it
of
was
them is a
so
sequel.
mismarketed. That's the issue.
Yeah, the issue
But,
is
you
like
can
the
learn,
fans
though, right?
too.
I mean, obviously, it's not happening.
Yeah.
but,
It's like
you can
not
learn.
enough
If it was
people
mismarketed,
Honestly,
you
saw it.
know
I
what
think
to do
I think the
second time.
Transformers fandom is one that I really just don't get either. What do they want? I don't get what these
No, I
fans
don't know.
want at all because Transformers 1 to me, as a casual Transformers fan, was the best Transformers movie I've maybe ever seen. That's my opinion.
I will
what
say
do they
that
want?
would be a very close pick for animation with me. I think the story in Wild Robot is more, emotionally.
Oh,
it's-
yes. I wasn't comparing those two.
it's-
I'm just saying.
It's better emotionally, but also Transformers 1 was more emotional than I expected it to be because those
100%.
first trailers were so bad.
Yes.
In my opinion, at least. I think a lot of people do agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
They
I agree.
mismarketed it so bad. I don't understand what chose them to go the route that they did with that.
We saw the Transformers together. We were going nuts.
Yeah, we were at the early access for
It was,
that. It was awesome.
It was,
It was genuinely shocking just how good that movie was.
Yeah.
So I will give you that. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going Wild
Back-
Robot
back to
for
Wild
mine.
Robot, yeah.
No, seriously, we have to mention Transformers 1 too because it might not make this any of our lists. but
Yes, I just wanted to.
it was
shout
so
out.
surprising, and I'm just we're talking about just animation in general at this second. We've had a really great run in the 2020s,
Yeah.
and the Wild Robot is not talked about enough though.
Well, the medium is just getting better and better. It has been for the last 20 years.
Well, I definitely we've also talked about on this channel how much we kind of want 2D animation to come back in a way. I think this blend is so cool though as well. I love it. It's in Spider-Verse. It's in Puss in Boots. I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie it definitely had it. It's just been a minute since I've seen it. But it's great to see a sort of blend of it and using it in different and cool ways. I like that.
I'll welcome normal 2D animation back with open arms.
Oh, please.
I'll take this as well. I think there's room for,
It's great.
for both.
It's just
You know
good to
what I
see.
mean? Room for all of this. 3D, 2D, everything. Just give me animation. You
A
know,
lot of hard work.
non-AI
went into these
animation.
films.
Give me that. That's
No,
what I want.
definitely. But yeah, Wild Robot's my pick.
Nice. Well, you get another pick too.
Oh yeah, wow. So I think I'm gonna jump to comedy. I think for me, from what's left on this list, I think it's an obvious pick for me. Friendship would be close, but I'm gonna go with Anora. And I think that, a lot of people would agree that Anora is one of the best of the 2020s. I think it's slightly overhyped, but I do really, it definitely caught me off guard when I first saw it. I didn't expect too much from it. I never saw a Sean Baker film before. It was my first. I really love just how down to earth some of it felt. But then obviously the comedy gets a little outlandish. But I thought it had a great balance as well, though. Just like, yeah, we have it in this comedy, but that ending really, really hits deep.
Yes.
And
We honestly struggled putting it into the comedy category for this.
Because of that
But
ending. And because of also
I
what the
think you
movie's
can make
really
a
about.
very big argument that it is ultimately a comedic movie.
Oh,
Most of it is
especially the
comedic.
middle portion of the movie. I
Yes.
was laughing out loud. I thought it was great.
Well,
it was
Baker,
hilarious.
Baker, I think the word used around for a lot of his movies is authentic. It
Yeah.
really feels raw and like kind of down to earth, and he finds humor in this movie in like everyday interactions and just like stuff that would go down in the real world. You know,
See, I
it's
would
just-
almost challenge that in the
Yeah.
sense that this is one of those dark comedies or dark situational comedies where the dialogue was so funny because it's a stripper,
yeah.
a mobster.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
definitely an
then
absurd
this-
story too,
yeah.
but it's like it feels raw where it's like this could happen.
Yeah.
Well,
You know
but
what I
you're
mean?
But I think
seeing
the funny
those-
part about it was just
Yeah.
who they were interacting
yeah.
with each other and the situation they all found
Definitely.
themselves in.
Definitely.
Yeah, like seeing those like types of people act in that type of way was very interesting as well, and just the dialogue that they had amongst them. Like, obviously, it's a movie about class a lot too, but that doesn't hit a lot to the end. But like, they definitely made fun of that, I guess, at first in a way. Obviously, you're saying she's a stripper, she's
Yes.
it definitely played with it, and then I think I haven't seen his other films yet, but what he seems to do is kind of make you comfortable with the comedy.
Yes.
It makes you feel more comfortable with these characters, all that. So then that when the rug pull comes in the end, it's a lot more powerful.
100%.
That's why it really caught me off guard, because like I was having a great time, laughing. I thought it was a good story, but then it took another little punch in the end,
Yeah.
and it made it into, I think, why it really, that ending really is why a lot of people talk about it in such high regard. For me, that's why I loved it so much. But it's not for everyone. But I think there's a reason it won Best Picture. It is a Best Picture winner.
Yes.
It's definitely a great
Definitely
time.
one of the best the 2020s has to offer, no doubt.
Yeah, no.
I recommend it to.
No question. And obviously, Mikey Madison's. We talked about Demi Moore and all that, but Mikey Madison was obviously amazing in Anora.
Yeah.
But, that's my pick.
Nice.
Passing it back to
You
Jake.
got both Substance and Anora on here.
Yeah, no, I got a good list out
I like
here.
it. All right. Jake, what do you got left? What are your two
So
categories?
action adventure and horror.
Okay.
Big
I'm
ones.
thinking. I mean,
Big
we
ones.
both had those
Yeah.
picks.
Yeah.
Made it a
We
little
wanted to
easier
start
for
with
you.
those. Now
Maybe
now
not
Jake's got.
easier, maybe a little harder, but
I think I want to leave action adventure for the last one. I'm between 3 right now,
fair enough.
which is
Yeah,
very
I
tough.
think I know the three. The big ones. in there.
Horror. I came into this thinking about this pick, kind of saving it like this is going to be one of my last picks if I
Yeah.
miss out on some of the heavy hitters. I'm going to go Strange Darling.
All right.
Wow.
Sleeper.
I
hit.
expected a Sinners pick.
Sleeper hit. I
No
was
one,
expecting
no
Sinners.
one here picked it.
All right,
So-
all right. Explain.
I'll first explain why Sinners didn't make the cut.
Okay.
I thought it was overhyped.
Okay,
I think
alright.
it was a solid.
Bold.
I thought
Yeah.
it was a solid 4 out of 5 stars, 8 out of 10 movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And people were just like, "Oh my god, this is the best horror in the last 25 years." This is, hype.
What's
I was
it?
almost a little underwhelmed.
Little
watching it.
overhyped.
Overhyped.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
I was underwhelmed walking out of the theater just because of
Interesting.
how many people I saw online saying like, "Oh, this is 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is my favorite horror movie in the last 10, 20 years." For me, it could have been a little scarier. I mean, I think the plot was there for me before to pick a
Well,
true...
I feel like a lot of people, the horror movies that people love a lot are the non-scary ones sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
I
it
just
was
like-
more like a more fun action
It was a
adventure
big mesh
horror
of a bunch
movie.
of genres too. It's like
Yeah,
a
that's
blues
what I'm saying.
movie.
It's a lot of genres.
You
honestly.
know, had vampires in it, but
But this one was a lot. I really think blends the line between action and
Yeah.
horror, where they really
Yeah.
went for those like 6 sequences of when they light the barn on fire, let everyone in,
Mhm.
where that was just like a cool like choreographed
Yeah.
action shot. Let alone like I didn't really feel like there were jump scares in it. I never really felt.
Yeah, there
it.
were like a couple. I get it's one of those movies where like if you expect it to be a horror movie going in,
Mhm.
some of those jump scares will get you initially,
Yeah.
but like rewatching it, it's never gonna get you again.
Yeah, and it's a great
You
movie.
know.
I definitely enjoyed it. Probably 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 stars for me.
Yeah.
But I really like Strange Darling.
Yeah.
Part of it was that was my first movie on the A-list.
That's true.
That really started it
Yeah.
all.
Shout out AMC A list.
If I
Yeah,
didn't
shout
see
out.
Strange Darling, I might not have the A-list right now, and
Yes.
I probably wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, it's true, very true. It is. Yeah, it's close.
And
Special to me too.
I love the structure of the movie.
Yeah.
I really, the whole time, obviously, I'm thinking this guy is hunting her down.
Mhm.
And then I love the scene when they're, finally together. I think they were in a motel room or something.
Mm.
And right before that, like when they're talking in the car, they had like the blue light on them the whole time.
Yeah.
And then it switches to her going into the bathroom with the red light. And then the whole tone of
Yes.
the movie shifts and they kind
Yeah.
of drop it on you.
That is one of the
And they-
Crazy shift, yeah.
crazy
Essentially
shift.
just flip the entire movie on its head. And I mean, I said Sinners wasn't that scary. Strange Darling wasn't that scary.
Yeah.
It wasn't scary at all.
Well, I think
honestly.
I think
Yeah.
I
It was
think
more
I
of a
know.
Thrilling, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
thrilling.
To compare
That's why
the
you put
two
it
of
there.
them, Strange Darling is a horror movie, or semi-horror movie that builds tension really well.
Yeah.
Compared out to Sinners, Sinners isn't really concerned with building tension. It really is just a fun take on a horror movie.
No,
I
it
think
does.
tension-building horror
Definitely
movies
does.
is what works for you.
Yeah.
Right? And
I
that-
love the thriller. I
yes.
like the, oh my God, what's
Exactly.
going to happen next?
Exactly.
And, yeah. So, yeah.
You're right though about the structure too. It's very different, and that was definitely a good part of the good aspect of the
Yeah,
film.
it has a Tarantino-esque structure where it is non-linear. It starts, I think, in the smack in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was a great way to really get you.
Good opening shot,
It gets
too.
you invested immediately.
I like the opening shot of the
Yeah.
film a lot.
Immediately, you're into the story.
And
Yeah.
I always respect a movie on a small budget that
Yeah.
can
True.
make me
That
pick
can
this
grip
as
you
my
like
favorite
that,
horror
you know?
movie of the last 5 years.
Yeah, honestly, it's
So I kind of give it that and the 38 millimeter film was just so refreshing.
honestly, yeah. I mean,
A
like
lot
we
of people
said
didn't like
before,
how they announced it. You know,
Yeah,
when the
they-
film
they-
started.
It was definitely a little
little-
pretentious,
Yeah.
but you know.
No,
But,
but
like,
it's still, it's a good film.
I'd be
so-
pretty happy if I shot something on 35 too. I'd probably. Be,
No, sir, it's cool. You know,
I'd probably flex
keeping
it.
that art form alive. So I can't even knock on it that much. It was just weird. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good
to
pick,
look at
though.
horror, I mean, Bring Her Back was definitely close. Bring Her Back in 28 years later, I mean, maybe a little recency bias.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I like 28 years later just because, like, that was, like, horror to me. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
seeing zombies.
I do want to
seeing-
mention.
Well, at
since
least the first hour for sure.
First hour,
we
yeah.
haven't talked about it on this channel yet. I
Yeah.
just, we're not going to delve that much into 28 years later, but I will say it's a very interesting study in like how to do like a sequel, especially that many years later, obviously, but it was just not, it started kind of as what we wanted it to be, but it very quickly turned into something else for better or for worse.
Yeah.
But it was at least a very original type of sequel.
Yeah, we've talked
Give
about
a
it.
lot-
Boyle
Definitely love that film.
Boyle clearly in the first hour was like, I'm gonna give the fans what they want. It's gonna be a sequel to 28 Days Later.
In a way.
The
it's still,
second
I
hour-
know what you mean.
Yeah.
Goes to places. It goes to a lot of different places.
Very
and then the
different
last
film.
minute is like, whoa, what is happening?
And that's what
Big
I liked it a
tonal
lot
shift.
just because it blended a lot
Yeah.
of, like, we're going to show you gross stuff that kind of makes you uncomfortable.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
going to throw in the jump scare here. You're
Yeah.
still going to get the cool Aaron Taylor Johnson action scenes.
for sure.
I love the ending. I mean,
It's
yeah.
It
not
is
for
the
everyone, but we got to see where they
craziest
take it
tonal
as
shift.
well.
One of the craziest tonal shifts in a movie I've ever seen.
I
Crazy.
didn't know that they were setting up a trilogy.
Oh,
going
so
into
that's even more
So
interesting.
I thought that was just like
Genuinely the
hey,
ending.
You just watched 2 hours of some heavy stuff. Let's have a little fun with this. You guys are here. You
Yeah.
bought a ticket. Let's see.
No,
some...
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Delving into that ending more too, it's a lot more fascinating heading into the next movie. A lot of
Yeah.
details there that I didn't first hand me, especially we're American. We're
I
not from
for
the
one
UK,
really
so.
appreciate that Boyle was like, I'm not going to keep this super mainstream. I'm really going to do some crazy shit with this, and
Yeah.
he did. He full-heartedly did. He did.
I'm very excited to see where they take it. I'm
Oh,
very
yeah.
excited for the Bone Temple. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I guess we will. All right,
Back to you, Doe.
Back to me. All right.
Your last 2 picks to round it out.
Oh wow, yeah.
Last two,
I'm
buddy.
finishing up my draft right here. All right, so I have drama and animation left. So I think I'm gonna start with animation here. It's got to be picked. I feel like I'm gonna go Spider-Verse just because. Yeah, I mean, it is an amalgamation of one. It's an amazing Spider-Man movie.
Mhm.
2, it's a great animated movie. It's some of the best animation ever put to screen. There they did it a little bit in the first one where it's like the different universes are different style in a way. But the second one really leans into that. I mean, it begins in Gwen's universe, and it's just like, whoa, it's like a water painting. It's like so different, and just that idea is just perfect. I feel like making each universe
A different
so
style,
distinct in their style and animation was just so smart.
Well, also for a superhero story that delves into other different universes, stuff like that, it still very much focuses on its core characters and the relationship between Miles and Gwen, which was so strong from the first film already being carried over. It's just actually great that, like, unlike the live action multiversal stuff, like, it really focuses on character and actually driving a very strong story. That's what is also so great about Spider-Man. He's so just strong, the morals and, what motivates him. Not obviously it's Miles Morales, but that, what the core of Spider-Man is what is so, like, there's a reason he's one of the most popular characters in fiction. Yeah. These movies, I think, better than the live action have recently, really go in onto what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man.
This is what has breathed new life into the comic book genre.
It's a great medium
for animated takes, because I've always thought that animation is what these things lend themselves to the best. We're talking about people in tights fighting monsters and bad guys and stuff. Like, of course, animation. We grew up watching Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Like, that was always my perfect take. And even like the animated Spider-Man series in the past, which, fingers crossed, he shows up in the next Spider-Verse. That's always been a favorite of mine. I'm happy Spectacular Spider-Man showed up in the movie.
At least we got some, man. Unlimited.
But yeah, it's a perfect movie for a Spider-Man fan, because it really is just, it's kind of a culmination of everything that came before it in a way. And also just to show you how much they could do so much with this man. They could do, it's basically it's so limitless with Spider-Man in a way. You know what I mean? I think this movie is the perfect showcase of that.
100%.
Yeah,
I will say, based off your reaction picking it, you did not seem too happy picking it as the last animation.
Yes,
off the board, which makes me feel a lot better about Last Wish being the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say Last Wish would have been above it for me, animation-wise, and even The Wild Robot. But it's also a Spider-Man movie, which I love so much. I love Spider-Man so much, so I'm not mad having this on a list. And I know people are going to agree with me. It's still going to help my draft.
I think there's a lot of people's number one in the animation. I know it's still going to be nice sitting
on my list.
Yeah.
So.
Kyle Samber is going to be up in arms when he sees this.
Yes, 100%.
This was the last animation movie.
Oh, he's going to be upset, but it's okay. It's still on the list.
Yeah.
All right, my last pick. We're going to drama now. This is my last pick of the whole draft. I've been thinking about it the whole time. It's tough because I think about dramas. There's so many good dramas in the 2020s. You go, we had a great Scorsese movie with Killers of the Flower Moon. Like that, long. First of all, very long, but it's not going to be my pick because it's really testy and gets it. But once it hits that movie, once it gets to the ending, I really felt it and the message really came through for me. But it's long and it really is
very interesting story as well.
Very interesting, yeah. And I love historical movies like that. And I'm saying
very interesting point in history.
Yeah, there's been great historical stuff. Oppenheimer would have been my number one pick, but also with The Brutalist.
Obviously.
Great take on immigration. Just a great story. Also, so long though. These dramas.
Yeah,
was obviously they're dramas, and dramas are supposed to really take their time and stuff. But I think some perfect dramas are ones that are like 2 hours, 2:15, and that's why I'm going Iron Claw. Iron Claw, one of my favorite A24 movies in general. It's so good, and it's also one, kind of like you were saying with Puss in Boots, I caught it really late. I didn't see it the year it came out.
Interesting.
And I took some time, and I knew people liked it, and once I saw it, I was really intrigued. It's also kind of historical because it's about the Von Erich brothers and the whole family. I wasn't familiar with that story.
Yeah, I went into it blind essentially.
Yes, I didn't know anything about the story. I didn't know anything. But wow, one of the saddest stories in all of sports. Like Jesus, it's also one of my favorite sport movies in general now because it really. If you've seen the movie, I generally it really tugs at the heartstrings a little bit. I mean, I called my brothers, I called you right after, I called you up just to say, I love my brothers because it really got emotional in the end. I didn't expect it to go there, and the sporting sequences as well are really good. But the best part about it is, again, the drama, and it really does drama really well. And by the end, I think you have. Not that he's had the most stellar performances ever, but Zac Efron, they really got
underrated
something out
performer.
of him in this one.
No, underrated performer.
He's an underrated performer, and I think this is the best showcase of his talent we ever got.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And this movie made me very excited for the Smashing Machine before we got the trailer.
Yeah.
Because now they had a track record of turning these, one type character like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to be good in Uncut Gems at all.
Yeah,
Going
no,
into
I don't
it.
think anyone
I didn't think he
expected
had the
that.
chops for it.
Yeah, I had some faith. He was in some things. It's just not. They're not as talked about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And
He
then,
has the
He was really
ability.
only Punch Drunk Love before Uncut.
You're right,
Gems came
yeah,
out. Now we
continue,
have both,
continue.
Yeah.
and there's examples now.
Yeah, that's
But yeah.
right.
And then Zac Efron, I mean, he's always kind of been that High School Musical guy.
Exactly.
He did 3 movies. He did 17 again. He did Baywatch. He's
Neighbors.
Neighbors.
Yeah.
Neighbors 2.
Yes.
Was he in Neighbors 2?
Yeah, he
he's
was.
in
Yeah,
Neighbors
he's
too.
the only
Same guy in every single movie. It's just, is he in high school or is he a frat guy in
That's very
college?
fair. That's very fair.
But it made me so excited for what they're going to do with The
Yeah.
Rock. And I mean, after seeing the trailer, I'm
Does
so
look-
excited.
Yeah, I know.
Unrecognizable.
I know you're there day
He's
one.
taking it seriously. Yeah. Opening
Yeah.
night, I will.
Dwayne Johnson era.
Dwayne Johnson
But yeah,
era.
I
has
love
started
the Iron
coming.
Claw. I saw in theaters. I saw
Yeah.
that back in Delaware.
You're
That
lucky.
was,
I wish
yeah,
I did.
That was a
because-
great film.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Definitely
All
good
right,
movie.
all right. Back to you, Jake.
All right, I'm up. I need what? Action adventure. Yeah, I got.
This is your last pick.
This is my last pick.
Action
It
adventure.
is.
Ending it off with the best category. I feel like.
Yeah, see, I went into
Some
this
heavy hitters
as
gone.
the number 2, thinking I wasn't going to get Oppenheimer and that I was going to be able to get Maverick.
Yeah. Well.
So now that I don't have my clear cut number 1, or 2, obviously with Dune. So it's tough. My heart really wants to say Godzilla -1. But I hyped.
I'm with you there because
That
would be
that
my-
would definitely be my next pick. I'm sad
Yeah.
it's not on my list.
I
honestly.
loved Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's also
so
on there,
much, and I
that's
hyped
it.
it up so much after I saw it in the theater that I feel like I
Yeah.
almost have to take it. I'm between these two. Furiosa, I kind of wanted to pick, but I mean, there's just
The action is so
Underrated
good. It's
So
such a big
good.
category. Yeah.
and like that's where I'm torn. Like, do I want to pick the better constructed movie,
Yeah.
or am I picking the better action adventure movie?
Yeah, no,
Which
listen,
is-
it's
No,
your
no.
preference. These are all great movies.
That's my internal struggle right here.
I also just because no one's gonna say it, I want to shout out Prey as well.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
Prey.
That movie was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just a big Predator fan, and Prey really brought the franchise.
Should have been
back.
out in theaters.
After
I think it'd be more
what
loved.
what I thought was the ultimate franchise killer. So thank you, Prey. Was just
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah, following up the Predator is no easy feat.
all right, Jake.
Gotta make a
Man.
choice.
We got
No,
the
I
I
do.
feel like we haven't even talked about the Batman as well. There's a freaking
Yeah,
phenomenal
there's
Batman
a
movie
lot,
that came out
yeah.
in 2020. So that
John
hasn't been
Wick.
talked about.
Ooh,
There's a lot
Literally
of movies
right here.
Northman even.
this is a tough one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
action, there's
Tough.
so many good action adventure
Oh.
movies. Like holy.
Because I do think Furiosa did the best action.
Yeah, I would
And I
argue the
think
sequences are
Godzilla -1 had the best like dramatical
phenomenal. Yeah, story. with it.
story just being put
We
together.
debated putting it in drama just for how,
Yeah.
you know.
That
it's-
was a tough one to pick, but I wanted.
It ends with an action.
Yes.
The third act is action
That's what I'm
heavy,
saying.
so we decided to put it
Yes.
here.
If the final act of the movie is an action set piece, I think it's an action movie.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm gonna
Godzilla.
actually go out and rule out Godzilla -1,
Mhm.
just because I'm looking at action adventure, and I think everywhere.
Oh, so you're saying you
everywhere-
think everything everywhere is closer to an action adventure?
closer to the genre?
Yeah,
that I'm picking
it's definitely an
for.
adventure
Yeah,
movie
no.
for sure.
So
It's also
I kind of
we
agree.
wanted to put that in drama. It's a lot of these
They're both
things
they
bridge
both
genres.
have
so-
drama elements, obviously. You know.
yeah,
But I feel like more adventure would be everything everywhere than Godzilla because
Mm-hmm.
it's super dramatic. But yeah, I think everything
What's he
everywhere
picking?
or Furiosa definitely did action very well.
I'm gonna go everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah,
He-
No,
he-
it's-
he had to
I
go
think
the
that's
Best
one we
Picture
were
winner.
sleeping
did.
on during this though. It's like I didn't pick it before too, and I was like, I
The
think
Kung
it's
Fu-
tied with Dune for me. It's so good.
The kung fu sequences were
Yeah.
amazing.
Great ode to kung fu movies, but also other genres. It meshes so much together
Yeah.
while also just having such a strong, resonant story about family. It might be the best multiverse movie we'll ever get because it really focused on the story at hand, which was so deep and emotional.
Yeah, and
Very
I think
strong.
the fact that they can balance what was it, the trophy scene?
Yeah, well, that's fair. In the comedy like that was in this movie. They were able to balance so much and still bring it home in the end of the day.
Yeah.
I saw that movie I think 3 times in theaters. Every single time, very emotional experience. I thought it was very, very good.
And what I was getting at, that they were able to balance the trophy scene and the rock scene,
Exactly.
Yeah.
all in the same movie.
And the
it
fact
works,
that
and it's
the rock
cohesive.
scene working in a movie is just impressive. Like,
Yeah.
to get that to work in your movie, it's just That's hard. It's.
And I also think it was a great, one of the better multiversal movies we've gotten in the last.
I think it's the best. I genuinely
7-8
think it's the
years.
best.
I think it's
I
the
mean,
It
best.
takes the concept and it does
when
what
did the
should be done.
multiversal stuff really jump out?
It started really taking off, I think, after Spider-Verse, really.
Yeah.
Like, right when this first Spider-Verse movie came out was the big... Also, like, right post... Well, Spider-Verse was right before Avengers Endgame came out.
Yeah.
And right after Avengers Endgame came out, became Marvel Studios' fascination with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which also began the boom of it, you know. Seeing this come out within that, and it just being miles ahead. Just
Yeah.
having an actual great story within this multiversal concept. Obviously, the other stuff that's using it, it's trying to call back to nostalgia, stuff like that. So it's a little unfair to say it's the best, but it really just is.
Yeah, I mean,
It takes the concept and
it's kind
it
of an
does a great
absurd
thing with it.
concept at the end of the day, and the movie
Exactly.
lends itself
Yeah,
to
exactly.
that absurdity.
It
you know?
really, that's why it's the best, because it gives itself into the absurdity of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Limitless possibilities. We see
It's-
this is a movie that juggles so much. We didn't even mention the freaking puppet raccoon, like Ratatouille
Yeah,
thing.
it's-
Yeah.
Like
This
just
easily
think
could
of
have been
where
in
this movie
Raccoon.
goes.
This easily could
And
have been
it
in
still
comedy.
gets so emotional.
Yeah.
Think about I'd still do the tax, like the speech that that he gives at the end of the movie. Kiki Kwan's character, their ability to juggle that much.
This is
Was
definitely one that
so
jumps
impressive.
a lot of genres.
And that was my
too.
introduction to
Yeah.
the Daniels, who I do love. I love Swiss Army Man as well. I thought that was. They have a very weird sense of humor.
Yeah, they have an
that's for certain.
and I'm happy that this actually.
It lended very well to this film.
I'm happy that
And
this
to the
was a
multiverse.
mainstream movie at the end of the day. People really.
Yeah, I'm very happy this
spoke
was.
to a lot of
It spoke to
people.
a lot of people because
Was
it
that
special.
that one Best Picture, right?
Yes,
That
it
year?
did.
Yeah, that was another best picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, it was interesting. We haven't talked about it till now,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it in a minute. I think
I think
if I
it's a
were
lot
to
of
rewatch
people's
it,
go-to.
maybe
Yeah,
I
I've
would
been
be
thinking this
higher
whole
on my
time.
list
I'm
here.
probably gonna go rewatch that.
Yeah.
within the next week or
I
so.
honestly think this
Great
is.
film.
I've heard a lot of people say it's their favorite of the 2020s. Period.
Yeah,
it
it
really
might-
is up there.
It's
for
just
a
been
lot
a
of
minute
people.
since I've seen it. I really loved it because I think we saw it together.
Yeah,
we saw it together.
We were raving about it.
Yeah.
Immediately after. I mean, we were both,
Well, we
mean, it's
we
phenomenal.
both heard a little bit, rumblings about people talking about how special it was. That's how a lot of
Yeah.
people were kind of introduced to it. Like it was like go see it, one of those type of films. It wasn't huge in the mainstream at first, but there's a reason it took off. It's just very. I think it's a very special film.
100%.
No doubt. That's a great way to wrap up the list, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, it's crazy at number 5 to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're about to wrap up the whole.
Yeah, I
the
gotta
whole draft
go
here.
to drama, which I've been sitting here thinking about what I was gonna pick in the end, and it's definitely between two films that also kind of lent to the comedy genre a little bit. We put Banshees of Inisherin and A Real Pain into the drama category, which have obviously big moments of levity and comedy. I love both of those films. I think they both balance both of the genres very well. But if I were to pick one of each, I'm going to go Real Pain. I think that was a great, short, very personal story in a way that spoke to me specifically. I thought it was just very touching in a way. And it caught me off guard. I didn't know what to expect from... This is Jesse Eisenberg's directorial debut. I didn't know what to expect from him. I thought he made a really poignant story that was just simple, but it was able to capture a lot of emotion. I think Kieran Culkin very much deserved to win
100%.
for this movie. He killed it.
Clear lock.
The movie ended, and I think I turned to both of you guys, and I was like, yeah, I think he's going to win for that. I was really taken back, because I'm not a big... I've seen things with him in it, but I'm not a big Succession guy. I haven't seen the show. So this was really my big introduction to him dramatically. And I know there was a lot, I don't even think he wanted to do the movie. There was some story with that, like they kind of tricked him into doing it in a way. Or I think Emma Stone, who's a producer on the film, kind of begged him to do it in a way. He makes the movie. There's no punch without him in it.
Yeah.
He is the real pain. And I love the last frame of the movie being just him sitting back down in that airport. I thought it was so powerful. I think I'm happy with this being my last on the list. It's a little recent,
100%.
but it's a great film. Great small little film that not a lot of people saw, but it got a lot of buzz in award season. So
To go off that, I mean, that was if I missed out on Oppenheimer and The Iron Claw, that was my thing.
yeah, it doesn't it's interesting having it in a list with Oppenheimer and The Brutalist and some of these other grand movies. drama was tough to put together and to really like pick one from. You know,
Yeah,
all
'cause
these lists.
Because
are,
we've
but-
had epics, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
we've had
it's-
very small scale.
That's what I'm
personal
saying.
stories, yeah.
I'm talking about something so personal when someone else from the list picked Oppenheimer, which is obviously it's the best on this
I think
list,
a lot of
but-
the personal ones work well too, like The Whale and DD. Like these personal, very contained stories are also great dramas. You know, they're great dramatic takes on just like slice of life, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I
that's-
thought Real Pain was able to just capture that like a little slice of life very well, especially in its photography as well. I liked how they
100%.
captured Poland. I thought it was great.
And I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I like The Real Pain better than Anora.
That's an interesting opinion. They're very different
I walked
movies.
out of it thinking like if Anora is the front runner for Best Picture, I think A Real Pain should be the winner.
Wow. Okay.
Walking out of that.
I like the
it
take.
it definitely resonated with me more. And again, that was
Yeah.
also my first introduction to Kieran Culkin, which probably
Yeah.
helps a little bit. I never
No,
saw Succession.
I was so
I only
taken
saw
back by
movie
him. He's
43.
amazing.
I don't know if you guys remember
Yeah.
him in that one.
Have you never seen Scott Pilgrim before?
Nah.
Wow.
Well,
He's good
actually,
in
yeah,
that.
that's fair. I'm forgetting about Wallace Wells.
He's great as
He is
Wallace.
really great as Wallace.
Goated
That's fair.
character for sure.
So this is my introduction to him. Dramatic.
yeah,
Well,
you said dramatic.
very
yeah, you were
different.
right.
He's okay. So that's fair. I knew he was a great performer, but this was really it was great to see this. I mean, it was very different than Wallace Wells, of course, and then honestly, the dynamic that was built within the movie with him and Eisenberg and how their roles kind of swapped. That's the point of the movie in a way. Their positions in life. I mean, it's a movie about them kind of accepting each other. These people who are at different points in their lives, and I think a lot of people can resonate with that just alone.
Yeah.
With having to level with someone that you don't really understand. I think that alone is just very human, and I thought they definitely were able to capture it very well.
Yeah.
For me, special movie. I think it resonated. I think you agree.
100%. Yeah.
It just it hit very close to home. I thought it was. It's a lot, like a lot of movies in the 2020s. It caught me off guard. I didn't know what to expect going into
Yeah.
it. I just heard, Jesse Eisenberg made a film. It wasn't something I looked too far into, and I think that's why I'm also trying to watch a lot of less trailers now. It's because I like being caught off guard. A lot of these movies are special to me because they were just so much better than I even thought they were gonna be. Especially, we mentioned, Puss in Boots. That came out of nowhere. A lot of movies in 2020s, they just came out of nowhere.
100%. I think
It's special to
I
delve
mean,
into
it
this.
reflects the theater attendance post
Yeah, that's
2020.
also true.
No
It's
doubt.
also true.
A lot less people were getting out there. A lot more people were waiting for it to hit streaming.
I think one big
Very
takeaway that a lot of people should take from watching or listening to us, just spiel about the 2020s or yap about the 2020s, it actually has been more special than people give it credit for.
No doubt.
There's a lot of merit in film in the past 5 years. And they had to get through a big hump with COVID. So honestly, thank you, Top Gun Maverick, for bringing this back.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Spider-Man No Way Home. But I think Tom Cruise's push to, keeping people working is what at least has kept us, kept this alive to some extent. It's in a bad place, a scary place. I'm not going to call it bad straight up because, we've got a lot of good stuff. The industry's still changing. I just hope quality can maintain in some regard.
All right, boys. We've made it. We made it to the end of the draft. I think we've had some, it was a long combo. I think we got some great picks. So just to reiterate, for comedy, I picked Hundreds of Beavers. Noah, you went with Anora. And Jake, you picked Poor Things. For drama, my pick was The Iron Claw. Where Noah, you went with A Real Pain. And Jake, Oppenheimer. For horror, I went with Nosferatu. Noah, you picked The Substance. And Jake went with Strange Darling. Back over to action and adventure, I picked Top Gun Maverick, while Noah went with Dune Part 2, and Jake Everything Everywhere All at Once. And lastly, for animation, I went with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, where Noah went with The Wild Robot, and Jake went with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Who do you think had the best list? Who's right? What do you
Good
think?
list, though. All
Also,
good list.
I think all great lists.
Yeah.
But what do you think is the best film of the 2020s? Leave a comment below, and we'll catch you guys next time.